Dani Valverde may be one of the youngest coaches on the ATP World Tour, but don't be fooled. After working with Andy Murray and Tomas Berdych, he now coaches Grigor Dimitrov and can already boast a huge amount of experience.
For me, obviously the tactics of the match and even on the strengths and weaknesses of your player, but I think the mindset of the player and even the surroundings of the player are extremely important. It's a long season. The player doesn't only have me, but it has many people around, and everyone has to be on the same page, and also the player needs to be committed 100% to the sport. So it's not only about the tactics or which shot to get better or which shot to work on, but it's also about his mindset and the psychology of the game, which, I mean, as everyone knows, is extremely important. Most of the guys at the top can play extremely well, but the guys that really make it are the ones that are able to stay constant with their psychological effort throughout the whole year.
On the ATP World Tour, there's a depth to competition like never before. Dani will set Grigor regular targets as they constantly analyse what they could be doing better.
We set short-term goals, medium-term goals and long-term goals. We try and focus on the short-term goals as much as we can. It's always important to have your year-end goals or where you want to be in a year or 6 months, but for us it's more about the work that we do day-to-day, week-to-week, because it's the best way to keep improving. But we do set goals. The way I work, I usually set weekly goals, and then the bigger goals are every 3 months. So after Miami, that'll be the first part of the season for us, and we'll sit down again after Miami and we'll talk about the clay and the grass. So for now, we're just focusing on about the first 3 months of the season. And the goal was to be in the top 15, which is at the moment by the end of Miami, and we'll go from there. When Miami is done, I'll sit down again with him and we'll talk about the rest of the season. I think it's more his mindset. He needs to understand that it's going to take a bit of time to adapt. So at the beginning of the matches, especially the first few rounds, you need to be very patient with yourself, not try to go for too much, get into a rhythm. Start feeling how the ball is reacting off the racket and also how the ball is reacting off the court, because every week is different. Sometimes the ball changes, the temperature changes, the court speed changes. So you need to be very patient at the beginning of the match to get into a rhythm, and hopefully after you get to win a few matches, then you find your comfort zone after that.
Going into Miami, Dimitrov was back in the world's top 15, and coach Valverde is keen to keep his man focused.
Keep doing what has been working. We speak a lot about this, just to keep it simple, look back and just look at the things that we've done in the last 6 months that have gotten us to where we are now, and obviously try and add a couple of things, because you're always looking to get better and to keep improving, but to not forget about the base, to what got us to this stage. And always, like I said, we're always looking to improve and to add a couple extra things, but the main priority is to keep things simple and to keep doing the same thing we've been doing for the last 6 months. I mean, he's been at the top before. When he was 22 years old, he was ranked number 8 in the world, so he's been there before. And I think it was probably a difficult learning experience, but it was probably a positive one for right now. So I think he understands where he's at now and what it takes to keep moving forward, not just to stay where he is at the moment. So it's probably tough for him to have those ups and downs in the last couple of years, but hopefully it'll be a good positive learning experience for him.
Next week on ATP World Tour Uncovered, the final stages from Florida as a champion is crowned in Miami. And going strong well into their 30s, why there's more life in old legs right at the top. Don't forget to log on to atpworldtour.com and chat with us on the ATP's official social network, MyATP, now on Vixlet, and on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. See you next week.